My life is forever changed with this information. Hey everybody, I'm Para, and today let's talk about spirit boxes. Whenever I do a Wheel of Misfortune, I always get an Estes method or a spirit box. So I thought, let's just fucking talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because I have had it up to here with spirit boxes. Also, my chair, I don't know if you can hear it, but my chair does not shut up. It now squeaks when I move, and it's really irritating. Anyway, not the point. Let's just jump in, grab a drink. I've got tea. Consider liking the video if you want to deal with this. If you don't, do it for the kiddies. They are sleeping right now over there, but sometimes they join in, so. But yes, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and without further, grab a drink because self-care is important. You need your fluids. And without further ado, let's just jump in. So first of all, I thought we would look at Spirit Check and see what they have to say, because they are the height of a reputable source. Put simply, it's a radio at the end of the day, but it's a rather unique one. What makes it so are its tools and features and how radio signals work. Primarily, it's a paranormal research device used as a spirit communication tool used to connect with spirits or ghosts by detecting EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. While indeed it's a radio, it has a slight modification that enables it to rapidly scan multiple stations at once, non-stop, as opposed to standard radios that play a single station at once. For instance, during a car trip, you pick a particular station or frequency, and you are listening to it for however long you want to. In contrast, with a ghost scanner radio, the aim is for it to scan all stations repeatedly, scanning both AM and FM without stopping at a specific frequency. Since ghosts and spirits tend to communicate on different radio frequencies and find that convenient, apparently. Therefore, it doesn't stop upon finding a channel as would a regular radio. Essentially, a ghost box picks up on that paranormal activity while scanning the stations. It detects noises, audio, voices, and will only pause, not stop, on a given station to capture incoming messages, mainly in the form of whole phrases or sentences. Well, that's the main distinguishing feature that it has over a standard radio. Here are some additional features. The ability to record voice phenomena and save audio recordings, speeding up the scanning channel process through the channels, slowing down the scanning process through the channels. Why would we want to slow it down? If it's doing its job, why would we want to slow it down? Yes, false positives. That is exactly why you would want to slow it down. Because the slower it scans, the more radio stations it's just going to passively pick up. Doesn't mean it's a ghost. Adjustable sweep direction, noise cancelling circuits, and audio or sound filtration functions. High quality recharged batteries, backlit display, built-in torch features can be used as a wireless audio speaker with a Bluetooth connection. USB data ports for file transfers and audio file sharing. Temperature meters showing rises or falls in temperatures of the location you're at. Apart from that, it's no different from a standard radio. Oh yeah, apart from all of that, it's no different. It's also worth mentioning that some investigators use standard radios instead of ghost boxes as well. Yes, but they jack it. It's believed that spirit can communicate with people using the white noise, which is why paranormal investigators and ghost hunters, and hunters of ghosts, because ghost hunters is too generic. That doesn't make any sense, which is why paranormal investigators and hunters of ghosts one among their hunting equipment and devices. Do you mean have one? Have what? You're missing a word. If you're wondering why people resort to them instead of standard radio stations, which can also be used, the reason is that it's been proven through research. Show me the research. Where's your evidence link for this said research? Cite your sources. Any sources down the bottom? No, of course not. Sam Ashford. Supposed to cite your sources. That sounds other than our everyday spoken language can be captured on a ghost box. Then why is every single paranormal message I've ever heard through a spirit box been in English? They're always in English. It's also always modern English as well. There's never, where's my Victorian ghost with the, I don't know. Where's my Shakespearean ghost with the, where art thou? Where art thou? Where art thou? There we go. Where art thou? Where's my old English? Where's my Middle English? Why is it always modern English? If they can choose their own words through the radio, why is it always modern English? Asking the real questions. I'm in a weird mood today. To use the box, you first need to be in a haunted location. Wow, really? Otherwise, you won't be able to get any spirit responses. Then you want to power it on. No, you need to turn it on for it to work. The first, you're telling me, first I need to be in a haunted location, and then I need to turn it on. My life is forever changed with this information. I never would have put that together on my own. It is advised to scan on the FM. While FM is usually preferred, there is no harm in trying AM too. What is the difference between AM and FM radio? The key difference is how they encode an audio signal onto a carrier wave. AM varies in the wave's amplitude and height, while FM varies in wave frequency. FM offers superior static-free sound quality and better noise resistance, but has shorter broadcast range, whereas AM provides longer range but can penetrate buildings better, but suffers from more static and poorer sound quality due to interference. Moreover, there are no rules when it comes to the speed of the scanning process. You can leave it to scan according to the current pace it is set to sweep to. The most important thing is for it to actually be scanning. The scan button is located in different places on different units depending on the model and the brand, so make sure you discover it. Once you start up the spirit box, you can start asking the spirits or ghosts the questions you'd like through the speaker. If you get too many radio stations coming through, you can switch from AM to FM, which will reduce them. So this foolproof ghost hunting piece of tech doesn't work if you need to fix it, if you need to botch it. Cool. How to speak well to get more replies. On that note, it is important to remember to be cautious of your language and word choices. You need to be polite and respectful during any communications with ghosts. It's only then that you'll start receiving messages back. That is complete bullshit, but I do like to be respectful of ghosts, whether they do or don't exist. It is worth mentioning that you should leave a long pause between your questions and responses, leave sufficient time for the spirits to answer back and not overwhelm them with multiple questions at once while using the box. So leave long ass gaps for the space for false positives. Cool. As you communicate with ghosts or spirit during your investigations, you should be listening for relevant voices and audio responses. In other words, communication should make sense and be comprehensible. If you're asking what day it is on Monday, you should expect to hear Monday, not bread cake or something similar, for instance. Naturally, you shouldn't mistake radio noise, radio waves, or blurry sound and audio for voices. The same goes for silence. So even this fake ass website says that you're still gonna get radio noise. So basically every ghost hunter ever is using this wrong, because you're still gonna get radio sound using a fucking radio. Wow. Speaking of which, you need to remain silent while waiting for responses, since some sounds can also be challenging to hear without audio editing. Most of all, patience is a must in this field. It'll take you time to tune your hearing to pick up on the exact words or phrases being said. It'll take you time to fine-tune your Pareidolia. Your audio pareidolia. I talk about this a little bit when I was doing the Proving Demons Wheel of Misfortune. I had to be blindfolded for that, which is great for me, but I was really struggling to pick up on what they were saying, and it was clear audio, but I was struggling to pick up on what they were saying because I didn't have any visual context. And it is very easy with things like spirit boxes, you don't have any visual context, so it's very hard, and it's also distorted to shit. So it is very hard to pick up on what you're actually hearing. So that also needs to be taken into account, which obviously they're not putting on here. This is interesting. Some of the boxes come with built-in sound filtration function that blocks out and removes voices and music from radio stations. So you are telling me that voices and music from radio stations can come through these devices and should not be counted as false positives. Cool, good to know. Guaranteeing that a higher percentage of the responses you hear will only be from white noise coming from the unseen and not other people. This proves my entire point about spirit boxes. Ooh, a cited source. For more information on what? Okay, that is like the worst fucking source ever. So you are capable of citing your sources. So where's the cited sources for your research? Which I don't even remember where that was, but it was up here somewhere. In many cases, there can be a natural explanation for what you're hearing, since they ultimately read the environment surrounding you. So always rule out the possibility before coming to any conclusions related to spirit and paranormal phenomena. In all cases, they are one of the paranormal world's top investigative tools for exploring ghost phenomena. So take your pick and don't hesitate to contact us for more information and any support you may need. Yeah, cool, whatever. So even the fake ass article is like, yeah, not everything you hear through a spirit box is spirit. Nice to know I was right. But now I want to jump over and look at who wrote this one. Karen, not even attempting. I will butcher that. You can read. Wrote this one, but this is Kenny Biddle's paranormal blog thing, Skeptical Inquirer. Look, research, cited sources. Love to see it. Also, this page is really overexposing me, but it's fine. I don't know if I'm going to read all of this because, oh my god. Frank's Box, the broken radio. One person's broken radio is another person's groundbreaking invention that enables human contact with aliens, angels, and the dead. The Ghost in the Machine. Instrumental transdimensional communication refers to the use of electronic devices such as tape recorders, fax machines, television sets, and computers to attempt to contact non-human entities. These are usually standard machines used in non-standard ways to collect paranormal images and sounds. Auditory data are the most common type of ITCs, known specifically as electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, also known as Raudive voices, named after early proponent. Oh my god, like, foreign names are allowed to exist, obviously, but I can never say them. I'm not. You can read that yourself. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. This communication is believed by some to be evidence for the existence of the afterlife. Unlike the machines listed above that are built with more orthodox purposes in mind, the Frank's Box was designed specifically to capture EVPs. It was invented by amateur radio enthusiast Frank Sumption, who was inspired by a how-to hobby article about recording EVP that appeared in the now defunct Popular Electronics magazine. Upon receiving design instructions from the spirit world and the article, Sumption built a radio receiver that reputedly facilitates real-time communication between the living and the dead, not to mention extraterrestrials, angels, spirits, and assorted entities from other dimensions. Thing is, extraterrestrials, I would kind of believe. Like, I think, there has to be some sort of something else out there. Like, I think it is very naive to think that we are the only form of intelligent life in the entire universe. And we are like right on the edge of our galaxy or whatever. I'm not a space person, I'm an ocean girl. If you talk to me about the ocean, I know what I'm talking about. If you talk to me about space, I ain't got a clue. But, not the point. I think an extraterrestrial tampering with our radios is far more likely than angels, spirits, and assorted entities from other dimensions. Like, yeah, okay, cool, it probably could happen. I don't know, because we don't know what ones of these exist, what ones of these don't. I mean, same with extraterrestrials, to be fair, but, you know, just like a space being with like more high-tech stuff than us tampering with our radios sounds a lot more of a probability than my dead grandma who couldn't work a phone in real life. You see my point? The Frank's Box device is one of several incarnations. It is also known as the Ghost Box, Joe's Box, the Spirit Com, the Mini Box, the Telephone to the Dead, or the Shack Hack, according to the design, the manufacturer, and the faction. How Frank's Box works or doesn't work. The Frank's Box is a homemade radio frequency receiver. However, the radio isn't designed to find your favourite religious radio station. It's built to be broken. The scan lock mechanism is disabled on this radio, therefore the machine continuously scans radio frequencies at a predetermined rate. This is like twisting the knob on the radio backwards and forwards quickly, producing random noise. This sweep method creates an untunable radio of erratic white noise. The rushing sound of unused frequencies is punctuated by mostly unintelligible fragments of speech or music when the scanner momentarily picks up on a station. It is Sumption's belief that spirits and other entities from beyond manifest in an echo chamber built into the unit and harness the random signals to create messages intended for the mortal listener. The association transcommunication explains that Frank's Box is like a radio for alien DJs. Radio sweep is technology that Radio sweep is technology that involves rapidly changing the tuning of a radio receiver to produce a soundtrack composed of bits of sound from whatever radio programming is on the air and whatever radio station is detected by the radio at the time. In theory, the communicating entity somehow arranges the radio programming of local stations to have the needed sounds, and that the sweep will detect the sound at the right time to produce the desired message. The assumption describes how he believes this device works as a medium. This is simply another method for supplying raw audio that spirits and other entities can use to form voices. Raw audio is a sound source that contains bits of human speech, music and noise, and a convenient source of raw audio is a radio, with its tuning swept across the entire band, AM, FM or shortwave. The sweep can be random, linear or even done by hand. So this original explanation directly contradicts this, because this is saying absolutely anything you hear is the spirit communication, and then you have things like this, which is fake to begin with because they're trying to sell them, saying not everything you hear is legit. So this is just disproving itself even more, to be honest. It doesn't work. The fact that even the fake site is saying that it doesn't work, and it directly contradicts the original use and explanation of Frank's box, it's funny. On his discussion groups EVP ITC, Assumption expands his belief that Frank's box channels spirits, not channels. It's been my experience that if one supplies something that the spirits and entities can use to make voices out of, they will speak. That's something called raw audio. It contains bits of speech, music and noise. The entities remodulate this raw audio to form voices. At least I think that's how it works, but who really knows? So even he doesn't know. Okay, so I am now day 3, 4, I don't really know, into trying to edit this video, and I am done hearing myself talk about spirit boxes, to be quite frank. Frank, get it? That was a complete accident. I read so much of this article, and basically summing it up, Frank seems to have some possible mental health issues going on, maybe some delusion. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I don't know him, I've never spoken to him, I've never observed anything other than what's written in this article, but he does not sound like a particularly mentally sound guy. I do encourage you to go read the article for yourself, but summing it up, the spirit boxes don't work, they are jacked radios. It's a fad, it looks cool, it sounds cool, it doesn't even sound cool, it sounds like a headache. And nobody can decide how it works. The original creator says it works one way, every other ghost hunter has a different explanation for how they work. Spirit Shack, which sells them and is a reputable ghost hunting equipment place, has a different answer, so nobody can agree how this thing is supposed to work. And if you cannot concretely narrow down how something is supposed to work, it doesn't work. So yeah, I'm possibly gonna leave the video here, possibly not. I still have 25-ish minutes of footage to watch. If there's anything of note, I'll stick it after this. If there's not, then thank you for watching, and I will give you back to past me. Yeah, I'm over it, and if I'm over it, I'm pretty sure you're over it. So this does not need to be a 40-minute video of me reading an article. You could go read yourself. But yeah, okay, cool, thanks, bye. Project engineer Paul Turner examined a series of photographs of the device, and after originally commenting that it was an elementary school class project, he provided the following technical explanation of the model. The Franksbox Model 63 that you possess is an alleged instrumental transcommunication ITC device. The term would imply a two-way communication between the spirit world and that of the living. However, after examining the photographs he provided and the builder's own schematics, I failed to see where or how this two-way communication occurs, as the device itself is nothing more than an AM/FM receiver with modifications. Without a personal examination, it is of course difficult to unlock any great secrets the box may contain. The results that the builder claims would be a matter of personal belief in the metaphysical. The first circuit in the chain is a salvaged RCA AM/FM tuner card. It would appear to have come from an older tabletop style radio. The first thing that struck me as unusual about the card is that the builder placed 2 quartz crystals on the tuning coil using antenna LED and silicone to secure them between the coil and the housing. It is not possible for these crystals to interact with the tuner, except for the slight possibility that the crystals acting as spacers for the excess antenna lead could slightly change the characteristics of the reception of the tuner, perhaps reducing its selectivity. Or it is an attempt by the builder to make the device be seen as more magical. There are 2 wired circuit boards, which again seem to be populated with a combination of new and salvaged parts. These parts are wired to a proto board normally used for prototype circuits, one containing the modifications necessary to linear scan the tuner. It is accomplished using the XR2206 function generator integrated circuit. I know what all of this means. I don't. This IC generates a sawtooth wave which enables the modified turner to scan frequencies from top to bottom and then back again. This is the same process as spinning a tuner knob on an old style radio up and down the dial. The adjustment of the rate of scan is controlled by an attenuator on the front face. This board also contains the preamps and microphone amplifier for an external echo box, which is optional. The speaker for the echo box is driven by the raw speaker output on the front panel, the volume being controlled by the raw drive attenuator on the front panel. The return microphone from the echo box, when the switch is engaged, would only feed the line output jack, which then could feed a recording device. The workmanship of the device is sloppy, and it would appear to be an effort of trial and error as opposed to a well thought out design. While some of the circuits are clever, it is in no way elegant or innovative. Perhaps a better classification would be haphazard. I speculate that the builder has a rudimentary knowledge of electronics, perhaps at a ham radio level or late 1970s trade school. So if entities indeed gave him the knowledge to build the device as he states in his schematics, apparently they did not keep up with the technical journals. In conclusion, Frank's box model 63 does an adjustable linear sweep of the AM/FM band, depending on which is selected. The result is a random noise generator. It does not have the capability of receiving any signals except that of the AM or FM broadcast band. It does not have a transmit capability. Its sole function is to linear sweep the broadcast band, producing bits and pieces of audio from those broadcast stations. Since the claim is that spirits speak through the random noise, I could well see that after a few moments of listening to this random audio, the sensory trait of pareidolia would come into play, creating false positives. This is the only logical explanation to the builder's claims. Okay, and I think the last bit I want to read is the supposed efficiency of Frank's box hinges on its outputs. However, these results are unconvincing. The communication is incomprehensible, subjective, and incapable of being replicated. Most of all, it isn't actually communication. The recordings made by Frank's box and similar devices include random words, word fragments, language-like sounds, music, and radio noises. They do not exhibit the features that characterize natural language. There is no grammar. The messages are pieced together and they do not produce authentic utterances. The most important distinction to make is that these collective sounds do not constitute speech. The data from Frank's box may contain bits of speech, but it isn't speech. Obviously, there is more to this. There is still quite a bit more. I have not read all of it. It is an interesting read, but I think I have got all the important bits out. Touch wood. I had got all the important bits out. So with that, what do you think of the spirit box? Has this altered your opinion at all? Do you believe in it more or less now that we've read nearly an hour's worth of information? Jeez. Nearly an hour's worth of information for me. I don't know what that will be once I've edited it down and edited my dyslexia out of it and like my what am I doing? Scrolling, because I did not pre-highlight sections because that would have been too smart and required planning, which I suck at. Let me know what you thought down in the comments down below. If you have nothing to say, maybe drop your favourite emoji. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing. Here is the other content that I make. And if you're a simmer, consider joining Project Plumbob. We would love to have you. Regardless of whether you're one of my simmers or not, I have a Discord server. So if you would like to hang out with me outside of videos, consider joining. It is a relatively new server, so it's kind of quiet at the moment, but I am hoping as I get more popular on YouTube and Twitch that, you know, it will get a bit busier. If you have any video recommendations for this channel or any of my other channels, please drop it in the comments down below. And with that, I think that is everything that I have to say. I will leave you to the rest of your day now. I hope it's a good one and I will see you next time. Bye!